everyone! So today I'm here to review the MERCIER Smoky Suede Eye Color Palette. It retails for $55 US, $66 in Canada, and contains 5 suede eyeshadows that are 0.05 ounces each and a double-ended brush. This palette is limited edition and said to be a palette of suede-inspired textured eye colors designed to deliver an airbrushed smoky eye. The 5 shades in the palette are Noir, Black Magic, Graphite, Slate, and Ivory. The packaging is a plastic compact with a subtle zebra design, and it features a mirror. The compact only opens to a 90-degree angle, which can make it difficult to use the mirror properly. My main concern with this palette is the cream products drying out quickly because there's only a snap closure. The packaging isn't designed to be airtight in any way, so there's nothing stopping air from getting to the products and drying them out. The dual-ended synthetic brush that comes along with the palette is great. One end is a flat, rounded shadow brush that easily smooths color across lids, and the other end is a fine pointed pencil brush that works great for creating a more defined crease or smudging the shadows into your lash line as a liner. The formula is a cream and has a very velvety smooth texture. The product itself is weightless, and in the pan it's almost bouncy or sponge-like to the touch. It's a really cool texture. When I swatched these shadows on my arm, they almost dried down to a powder finish. However, when I applied them to my eyelids, the texture stayed soft, blendable, and could be transferred if touched. Right off the bat, I can say that this palette is definitely better designed to use as a base for powdered eyeshadows. During testing, I didn't apply a powdered product over top to set these, nor did I use an eyeshadow primer. Within the first hour, the shades had faded significantly and lightly creased. I'll have a photo up so you can see this is 2 hours into wear. They've faded quite a bit. I should also mention that I don't have oily eyelids, and eyeshadows fading isn't usually a problem for me, even when I don't use an eyeshadow primer. Applying the eyeshadows to my eyelids first and not into my crease, the products blended together beautifully and they created a really nice gradient. I also noticed no matter how careful I was at applying shadows in my crease, all of the colors ended up kind of mudding together. Noir is a dark gray black with cool undertones and a satin finish. The texture was soft, semi-sheer, and had decent color payoff. This shade took many layers and quite a bit of building to get a strong wash of color. Noir lasted 2 hours before fading drastically and left behind a faint stain. Black Magic is a dark gray black with cool undertones and a multicolored micro sparkle. The texture was soft, sheer, and had decent color payoff. Again, this shade took layering and building to get a mostly there wash of color. When I applied this shade with my finger, the micro sparkle adhered beautifully to the skin and there was no fallout. However, when I applied this shade with the brush, the micro sparkle was hardly noticeable even at close inspection. Black Magic lasted 2 hours before fading drastically. Graphite is a medium to dark gray taupe with warm undertones and a frosted lilac sheen. The texture was soft, semi-sheer, and had decent color payoff. Once again, this shade also took layering and building, however that only increased the frosted finish rather than enhancing the color. Graphite wore well for 2 hours before fading and lightly creasing. Slate is a light to medium muted silver rose with warm undertones and a frosted pink sheen. The texture was soft, sheer, and had barely their color payoff. This specific shade was stiffer, like the product had begun to dry out. It didn't have that same bouncy, velvety texture like the rest. Slate wore well for 1 hour before fading completely. Ivory is a light silver white with cool undertones and a frosted finish. The texture was soft, sheer, had good pigmentation, but was almost chunky at times, like some areas of the pan had begun to dry out. This shade took the least layering and building to achieve good color payoff and a frosted sheen. Ivory wore well for 3 hours before fading. So overall, this palette would be excellent to use as a base. The biggest disappointment for me personally was that this product was advertised as a standalone eyeshadow, so the fact that they faded and creased in such a short amount of time was a bummer. I feel like you do end up using quite a bit of product because you do have to layer it to achieve a more opaque finish, and the overall design of the compact doesn't keep air away from the products, therefore they're obviously going to dry out faster. The shelf time written on this palette is only 6 months, and that's completely understandable because I can't imagine that they would last much longer than that, but for the price point, it's kind of a situation. So unless you like a very sheer wash of color, or you are planning to use this palette strictly as an eyeshadow base, then it will work for you, but if you're looking for something that's gonna have an intense payoff, I would probably pass on this palette. So be sure to let me know in the comments below if you've considered getting this palette, if you did, if it worked for you, anything like that. Just let me know your thoughts down below. I'm quite curious to know if this palette worked out 100% successfully for anyone, because you know, sometimes products work for other people when it doesn't work for you and all that stuff. So if it worked for you, be kind, just let me know down below. As always, don't forget to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. If you'd like to give me a follow, I will have all of my social media links listed here as well as down in the description. As I always say, I hope you found this review helpful, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.